Hi, welcome to my channel. I am Gift and you're welcome to Gift and Couture. So in today's tutorial, I made this beautiful two piece that you're seeing on your screen. So if it's something that you love and you like to learn, stay tuned. So if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please do well to subscribe so you can always get notification whenever I post a new video, and so that the algorithms can always push my videos to more people. Thank you. So the first thing you're going to do is to fold your fabric into two. So after folding your fabric into two, divide your thigh into two. This is to avoid wasting of fabric. All right, divide your thigh. For me, my thigh is 25. Because the fabric is kind of silky, I added 1 inch to it, making 26. That 26 divided into two. For your thigh, divide your thigh measurement into two. So for this trouser, I marked 30 inches because I want it to have that stripes, the lower part to be horizontally. All right, so from there, go ahead and minus 1 inch, 1.5 for your band. So away from that band, measure your hip length. So my hip length is 8 inches, and 8 inches is okay for every person unless you are kind of taller. All right, so from there, go ahead and measure your crotch length. How to get your crotch length is divide your hip into 3. Whatever you have, you marked it there. So on the hip line, I went ahead to divide my hip into 4 rather. You are going to divide your hip into 4, and on the crotch length, you are going to measure that 13 inches that I got from my hip, and then connect it to your hip just like what you're seeing on your screen. So from there, I went ahead to cross check the hip measurement. I noticed it was kind of excess and I removed it. So that means the first line that we connected from the crotch measurement to the hip is cancelled. All right, so let's go ahead and do it now. I just marked it, so that part, the first contouring, is cancelled. All right, which is this one. So from there, I went up to the waist, the same measurement I have on the hip measurement. I took it up to the waist and then marked it. All right, so from that center, you are going to go ahead and connect it just like what you're seeing on your screen. Remember, that one is cancelled. All right, so the next thing I did, from where I marked the measurement, you are going to go from there, divide your waist measurement into 4 and then marked it. All right, so my waist is 30. I divided by 4 and I marked 7.5. So from there, I connected it from the hip length slantly. All right, so after I was done doing that, I went to the crotch measurement. All right, the measurement I have, whatever you have, divided into 2. That's how you get the center of your trouser. I hope it's making sense. So from there, I went ahead to measure my knee length, which is 24 minus 2 inches, and this was what I did. I marked it and also extend the measurement downward. So now, to get my knee measurement, you divide your knee into 4 rather. So my knee measurement is 18. I added 2 inches, making 20. That 20 you divide it into 4 and mark it on both sides. The reason I use 20 is, it's not a pencil trouser, and I can't sew pencil trouser with this kind of fabric. So from there, I went ahead to connect from the knee to the crotch length, and from the knee on the other side to the crotch length. And after I was done, this was what I did. You can see it's not that pencil. So after that, I went ahead to cut it. I hope it's making sense. All right, so after I finished cutting it, I went ahead to place it on the front. All right, so this is the front. I'm gonna ahead to extend the lines, the waist, the hip, and the crotch length. So on the crotch length, you're going to mark 3 inches. All right, for the hip length, you're going to mark 2 inches, and the waist length, you're going to add 2 inches. So the 2 inches is for the sewing allowance. So I went ahead to connect from the crotch to the waist length rather, just like what you are seeing on the screen. So on the waist level, I'm sorry guys, you are going to go up by 1 inch and connect it to the side slantly. I've been doing this on my previous videos, but I didn't know this very part was not recording. I'm sorry. So from there, I went to the lower part and marked 2 inches. The only place you're permitted to add 3 inches is on your crotch. So the rest is 2 inches all the way down. So after I was done, I went ahead to cut it, and it's time to cut the front, the upper part. So for the upper part, you're going to go ahead and mark 2.5 inches down all the way. The 2.5 inches is to get the placket. I've already done that. The next thing is to measure the length of the top, which is 25 inches, because I was still going to add to it. So after marking that, I went ahead to measure from the midpoint to where I want the sleeve to stop. I marked 14 inches, and then I went ahead to cut it to avoid it being distracted. So the next thing I did was to fold the 2.5 inches that I want to use for the placket, and then notch it, press it, fold it just like what you're seeing on your screen. I went ahead to use my iron to press it so that I'll be able to know where to fold. So from there, I went ahead to mark the 14 inches. How to get the 14 inches? From the midpoint of your back, like the spinal cord, place it to where you want the sleeve to be, and then connect it. So from there, I went ahead to measure 14 inches, and then to get the slant, I measured 2.5 to get the slant. I didn't know it was not recording. So for the armhole side, I use 9 inches. All right. So placing my tape rule from the shoulder down to a bust point is where the armhole stopped. So that was what I did. I hope we are getting it. So the next thing I did was to measure my waistline, which is my half length, and then divide my bust into two. So my bust is 36. So I added extra 4 inches to it, making 40 divided by 4, and then I marked it. That is 10 inches instead of 9 inches, alright, because it's a free dress. And then I went ahead to add extra 1 inch to it. The same thing I did on the bust is what I did on the waist, but for the waist, I minus 1 inch from it, alright, because I didn't want it to be fitted. So on the other length, the same thing, I use my hip length there. So for me, my hip is 38, adding 4 inches to it, making 42. 42 divided by 4, whatever you have, you marked it, and then add your seam allowance to it. That was what I did. I went ahead to add my seam allowance, and I connected it. So after I was done, it's time to contour the armhole, just like what you are seeing on the screen. Alright, so after I was done, I went ahead to cut it. I hope you are getting it. So before cutting it rather, I decided to cut the neckline. I used 2.5 for the neck width, and for the neck depth, I used the same 2.5. Okay, the reason I used 2.5 is because I knew I'm going to extend the back by 1.5 inch, but see how I'm going to do it. So for the back, I went ahead to cut the back the same thing. If you watch my previous video on how to cut male clothes, this was what I did. Extended the back shoulder by 3 inches. The 3 inches is for it to relax properly. I don't know if you are getting, when you see men's clothes, you see that their back is always high, and that was what I did on this top. Alright, so the 3 inches, after doing that, I went ahead to cut it out, and then fold it like half an inch. The half an inch from the 3 inches is just for the sewing allowance. I don't know if you are getting it, but that was what I did. What you are folding on the front is just half an inch, and after that, I went ahead to cut out the 1.5 that I told you guys, so you can see. Now if you are to place your tape rule from where I cut the neck to where I cut the front neck, from where I cut the back neck to where I cut the front, you get like 4 inches different. I hope you are getting it. So I went ahead to cross check my neck measurements. My neck measurement is 15, and what I got there is 15.5, and it was fine. Alright, so from there I went ahead to trim the side, and that was it, and also notch the folding allowance. I hope you are getting it. So the next thing I did was to go ahead and divide the placket, like the 2.5 inches that I added, what we are going to use for the placket, and open it all the way down. And after I was done, this is the outcome. I went ahead to measure the width of the upper part. I said I want to add, like, put the strap horizontally instead of it being vertically. So from there I went ahead to measure the width and also the length of the stripe on how I want it. One good thing about stripe, you can use it, you can change it anyhow you want it. I went ahead to place my tape roll to measure the actual measurement I use for the upper part. That means I used 37 for the top. So after that, I went ahead to cut the others and also the trouser I added to it, and after that I went ahead to join it using my pin. This is a trouser. I've already gone ahead. The same method I use for the upper part is what I use for the trouser. So after that, I went ahead to pin it just like what you are seeing on the screen. All you need to do is to subtract your trouser from the length that you want it, and then cut it out. I hope you are getting it. So I went ahead to join it and also iron it. So for the front also, like the top, I also did the same thing by using my pin to hold it. You have to use your pin. We are going to use a silky fabric like this so that you'll be able to get the actual measurement. So after that, the first thing I did was to pin the center and also the edges, just like what you're seeing on your screen. So after I was done pinning it, I went ahead to sew it half an inch, and this is the outcome. I hope you are getting it. So this is it. I've gone ahead to iron it. You can see how neatly it is. You can see the vertical lines and the horizontal lines. So from there I went ahead to fold the material, the upper part, into two in order for me to get the accurate measurement, because I actually cut it excess and I retook the measurement, and this was what I was doing. From there I went ahead to cut it out. So after cutting the excess out for the upper part, I went ahead to do the trousers as well, join it and iron it. You can see how it looks. Alright, so from there I went ahead to pin the trouser. So in order for you to sew the trouser after pinning it, I sew it downward. From where I join, I sew it downward. Then from where I join as well, I sew it upward. Alright, just for it to the joining to align. I hope you are getting it. And after I was done, I went ahead to iron it, and this is the outcome. You can see how neat it looks. Okay, so after that I went ahead to join the side just like what I did, and the band, I've already folded the band. If you've been watching my videos, you know how I fold my band. So this is it. The first measurement, measure 4 inches width and measure your waist measurement. Fold your fabric into two and then gum it with your paper. After gumming it, you're going to fold half an inch, and then the width of your band, and that was it. So from there I went ahead to sew it, and after sewing the first stage, you can see how it looks. The next thing is to go ahead and fold it. When you are sewing, you're going to sew from the front to inside, and when you are sewing now, you're going to sew from the front just like that, just like what you're saying. Do not sew from the back, and when you are done, you're going to get something like this, even more beautiful than this. For the waist, I added band to it because when I measured the waist, it was kind of excess due to the kind of fabric I used. I hope you are getting it. And then for the length, I went ahead to fold 1.5 inches. All right, you can see how it looks like. I went ahead to iron it, and after I finished ironing, I went ahead to pick up the upper part and fold the placket. Now to fold the placket, remember we've already notched like the 2.5. The first thing is to fold half an inch and iron your first half all the way. Make sure you iron it all the way, and after you finish ironing it, go ahead and fold it. I don't know if you are getting it. You can see the way I iron it all the way. The next thing is to go ahead and fold the 1 inch where the notching is. So just like what you're seeing on your screen, go ahead and fold it just like this, and then use your iron to iron it. So when you are done ironing, use your hemming gum to put inside it and gum it. If you do it like this, when you're sewing the placket, it will be neat. All right, So from there, go ahead and iron it. And after I was done, and next thing is to go ahead and sew it. So this is after I was done sewing it. Remember, putting after putting your hemming gum, you're still going to sew it. So after I was done sewing, I went ahead to join the shoulder, the by half an inch. Remember, I added half an inch. All right, after I finished joining, I went ahead to iron it. You can see how the neck is given. All right, so you can see how it looks then. So the next thing I did was to go ahead and fold one inch, just like what you're seeing on your screen. Fold the armhole by 1 inch and also sew the sides. I hope you are getting it. So after that, I went ahead to, you can see how the side is and how the joining are lined together. So the next thing I did was to fold the neck and cut like 1 inches band and then fold it. So after folding it, I added paper stick to it, and then it was time for me to fix it. So when fixing it, I sew it from outside to inside, and that was it. So this is the outcome. I hope you like it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you guys in my next video. Thank you. Next thing is to go ahead and fold my down part.